Hey everyone, Kyle once again. Hey, welcome back to the movie review back on the Halloween Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. And next up is the next entry in the series is Nightmare on Elm Street 3: The Dream Warriors. Solid sequel. Now, after was released in 1987. Now after people considered Part Two, Freddy's Revenge, a step down from the first film. People say that because they didn't like the whole idea of how Freddy is in the real world and possessing a person and all that stuff. And I'm like, it was different. I thought it was a cool idea. I don't see what the problem was. So, but people said that was a step down. They didn't care for it. So, wonder what was gonna happen if the third one was made. So, when the Dream Warriors came out, and Wes Craven, he came back. He helped. He was executive producer. He helped with the story, and he helped write the film, and they also brought in Chuck Russell and Frank Darabont. Now Chuck Russell and Frank Darabont. This was released in '87. Then the next year, 1988, they will go in and do together the Blob remake. And I love the Blob from 1988. One of the best horror film remakes, one of my favorites. And this is just great creature feature film and a great remake. So after this, they two will go in together to make the Blob remake. And also with Chuck Russell, director Chuck Russell. So now after the Blob remake, he would go on to do The Mask with Jim Carrey. I enjoy The Mask. He also directed Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I reviewed Eraser. That's a badass Arnold film. And then he would also go on to direct The Scorpion King, the spin-off of the Mummy films. And he didn't go on to direct much after that. I know that a year or two ago he directed one with John Travolta called I Am Wrath. I haven't seen it though, but didn't have the interest of that one though. But Chuck Russell, I like him. So you got The Mask, from The Mask to the Blob, uh, Eraser, and then you got Nightmare on Elm Street, the Dream Warriors. I should think he should, be deserved to get another chance to make another film, for the films that he did. And of course, with Frank Darabont to collaborate with him, of course, Frank Darabont going to make the three Stephen King films, The Shawshank Redemption, and The Green Mile, and The Mist, and he helped create The Walking Dead as well. So you get some talent. And also along with Wes Craven coming back, so you got talent behind this film. And I like the poster to this film. I like the poster of that. Just look at that, The Dream Warriors. And the film came out, and the film was a success, a critical and box office success. And it got more, especially it not only made more, but it got more critical passes from the critics, more than the Part Two. This has a 6.6 on IMDb and a 74% Rotten Tomatoes, so it's definitely much higher than the Part 2, because they say it's better than the second one. And I love the second film. I don't care, to me, in my opinion, I think it's the most underrated sequel of the series. I enjoy Part 2. We did, even despite people would think how the problems from the girly scream to the character in real life, the guy in real life is gay, or how they influence all that stuff. And how Freddy is in what they done with Freddy, if they put him in the real world. I don't care about that stuff. I thought it was a cool, sometimes different ideas and different stuff. I enjoy that stuff and the lines he says and made him going crazy and just slashing people. And I just don't get the hate for it. I just don't get the hate for Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, and it was Freddy's Revenge. But I love the Dream. I love 3, The Dream Warriors, because as the first one was always the best, but as for sequels goes, I probably put Part 2 because how it's so underrated. Then I put Part 4 because I love Part 4, The Dream Master, great sequel, and then I put Part 3 It's still a solid sequel, still, regardless. But I love The Dream Master and then Freddy's Revenge. But just get into the plot, okay. We have Chris, a new character named Kristen, played by Patricia Arquette. I think this was also her first role as well. She's how it opens up. She's having a dreaming she sees that at the Elm Street house, the one where the Nancy lived, and the children, playing, doing the jump rope and stuff. And there's this girl, in the tricycle around the house. She follows, and there's Freddy Krueger there, once again played by Robert Englund. And as she's carrying her, then all of a sudden she's turns into a corpse. And then when she gets to the bathroom, the faucet, the handles, it turn into like Freddy's razor blades, and thinking her mother's like suicide, and she's sent to this mental institution for a rehabilitation center or whatever. And along we meet more of other group of characters, which I thought are like also likable characters. So in this institute, you got Kincaid, and you got Will, Joey, who's mute, and you have Taron, and Taron. Then you got Philip. You got who was the other girl? She was the one who wanted to be like a TV star. Jennifer, that was, and as for the hospital staff, one of the orderlies, you have Laurence Fishburne in here. In the credits it says Larry Fishburne, but it's Laurence Fishburne. So it was nice to see him in the film. He doesn't die though. He's just, he plays one of the orderlies. It was cool to see him. Nice to see him in there. They have Craig Wasson, who plays Dr. Neil Gordon. I thought he did a good job as well. Then you got the return of Heather Langenkamp as Nancy Thompson and John Saxon as her father. And so you got so with the return of Nancy Thompson and was John Saxon's Donald. But the other group of characters, you like the characters, and they worked well together, and they're all they share the same thing, and seeing this Freddy Krueger in their dreams. And for one night, one of the characters, Philip, who's like makes the puppets, right? And once again, like how I said, how the sequels, they get more imaginative and creative with the ideas, how like the dream, how Freddy Krueger does, like in their dreams and all that. Really cool, inventive, and just really well, good ideas. And pardon me. And like the one character Philip, Freddy Krueger, how he gets him, he like in the dream, because the guy says, because he says he sleepwalks, but he slashes his wrists and his feet, and like uses his veins that pulls out of him, uses like strings to make him walk like a puppet. And I like that idea. It's a good, well done effects. And even with the little Freddy Krueger puppets, a nice piece of stop motion animation as well. And but in reality, people think that he's sleepwalking. They see him on top of the one of the high windows, and they think he's gonna jump, but they don't know he's under control of Freddy Krueger. You see Freddy Krueger like in the sky controlling him, and then when he cuts the strings, the guy falls to his death. So they think it's suicide. And then when Nancy comes in, Heather Langenkamp, she does a good job in the film as well. Talks with Dr. Gordon. It's funny. What his name is with Dr. Gordon in the film it kind of reminds me of Carrie Always' character from Saw, because his name is also Dr. Gordon as well. It's kind of funny because they say when they call him Dr. Gordon in this, it kind of reminds me from Carrie Always and Saw, because his name is the same thing. But it's Laurence Gordon, not Neil Gordon. And then again, and another one where how Nancy, Kristen, Patricia Arquette, she has the ability to pull people in their dreams into her dreams. Like when she pulled Nancy into her dream when uh, Patricia Arquette, she's in her dream, she's about to get swallowed by Freddy Krueger. Like it turns into this snake and just about to, eating her up basically. And then Nancy sees him and he goes, "You." So and but then Emil pulls her out, and then you get another cool death and another creative looking death where the girl Jennifer, like she said she wants to be a rock star, TV star. She's watching the TV, and I think it was Critters playing on the TV as well because that was time of the release by New Line Cinema. So it was funny to see Critters, and then she gets attacked by Freddy, who like, becomes like the TV. Another well done special effects, and Robert Englund, another good line. He says like, "You're on prime time, bitch," and just shoves her in the TV. And then Nancy tells everyone in the group section what's going on, who's doing this. It's Freddy Krueger, and then then we get into like the Dream Warriors because they each have their own little special power. They dream what they want to be. Like when they all fall asleep, how they become their Dream Warriors. Like with the Patricia Arquette, she can like do like flips and kicks, high kicks. Like a little bit of hand-to-hand combat stuff. And with Kincaid, a likable character, he's just super strong, and Tara, and she becomes like this pop punk, like not like punk rock, with the mohawk and just with the switchblades and like the punk clothing and all that. And the character Will, he's because his character, he's in a wheelchair, so in his dreams he can walk, and he says also he's the wizard master. And with Joey, which he's a mute though, but to find out later, he has his ability as well. But with Joey, well, they're also on the part of Joey follows this nurse that he likes, and but it's actually Freddy Krueger in disguise, and ties him up to the bed, and he's like, Freddy Krueger. Now, this is for sure more Freddy Krueger. It's like he's also trying to do a little bit of dark evil Freddy Krueger, like from part 1 and part 2 as well. But also we're seeing more of a funny side, a lighter, funny side of Freddy Krueger as well. So it still has a little bit of the dark evilness as well, but it also shows a light and at the same time a little light and funnier tone with Freddy Krueger. And then he says like, hey, tongue tied, tied into the bed. And he's like this fiery pit right beneath him. But in reality, he thinks he's in a coma because he's stuck in the dream. So. And with Dr. Gordon, twice he sees this nun who basically everyone's seen the film before, so but it's basically it's Freddy Krueger's mother, but her sister nun name is Mary Helena, but her name is Amanda. Her name is actually Amanda Krueger. See, she talks with Dr. Gordon 2 times, and one he sees her in the distance, but then she disappears, and then up into the bell tower, she tells her like the evil spirit that needs to be buried in hollow ground. And then also at one point where he looks up information like this experimental drug called Hypnosil, where it suppresses that not making them fall asleep so they can't dream. And funny thing is, Hypnosil, you get that later in Freddy vs. Jason, where they want to take, because that's where our two guys from the mental institution are prescribing to get Hypnosil so they won't dream. That's why they haven't had dreams and not remember about Freddy Krueger. So that's why they go back to the institution in Freddy vs. Jason to get the Hypnosil. So yeah, so it's not so the little thing right here in part 3 about the Hypnosil, you see that again in Freddy vs. Jason. So So after let's see, after what happened with Joey, then Nancy and Dr. Gordon, they're out of it because basically the bitchy nurse, the doctor nurse, and the guy who was the head of the place tells them you're off the hook. And Nancy goes and takes Dr. Gordon to see her father, John Saxon, who's now drunk, drinking, and tells her how to beat Freddy Krueger. So he tells her where since they killed Freddy Krueger, wants to know where his bones are. So it's Dr. Gordon takes John Saxon to where it's at this junkyard, the junkyard I would say, and with Nancy takes the rest of the group to rescue Joey. Everyone falls asleep. So as they'll become, as they're together, Freddy Krueger separates them by, slashing the padded room, and because Patricia Arquette was in there alone, and everyone gets separated. Like with first with Taron, who tries to get with Freddy Krueger with a switchblade, but is like then he makes Freddy Krueger makes his fingers become like syringes. That's the problem with her. She with the drugs. So you see like the stuff on her arms become little holes, like and then just pins her to the wall with the syringes going into her, and Freddy Krueger's like, what a rush. And apparently, it was through that scene, looking up, that apparently that scene was banned in Australia, a place in Australia, Queensland, because that scene, due to its drug referencing. So, well, today I don't think it wouldn't be that much big of a deal anyway. But back then, and they banned, I guess from that scene right there. So. But then after it's the guy in the wheelchair, Will, his turn is next, and he sees this really heavy metal geared, spiked up looking wheelchair from metal basically, and he uses his wizarding powers to destroy it. And then the guy does this. Okay, this is a nitpick though, but he uses his wizard powers to destroy the wheelchair. And then he uses it to zap Freddy Krueger. But then the guy does a stupid thing where he goes and runs up to him. Why? Why would you run up to him when you're safe from a distance? You have him from zapping him from a distance. Why would you you just go and run up to him? That's a nitpick though, but it was a stupid thing that led to his get killed by Freddy Krueger. Why would you run up to him when you were perfectly fine where you were at when you were zapping him? I'll say that's a nitpick though, but I don't know why he had to choose to run up to him, but due to his stupidity, Freddy Krueger grabs him, says sorry, I don't believe in fairy tales, and stabs him. So I'm sorry for that. I know he was a likable character, but he got his stupidity, got himself killed on that. Just I don't know why he had to run towards him for that though. While he was safe where he was standing. So then with Mancy's with Kristen, they meet with Kincaid. They follow the stairs. They find Joey, and he's about to let him fall, but Nancy saves him. And while it's going on back in the junkyard where Dr. Gordon and Sheriff Thompson, they find the bones remains. Then it comes alive. And John Saxon gets killed very easily, just basically like 10 seconds after the bones become the resurrected cell. John Saxon gets killed just like that very easily. He just gets thrown and gets impaled. Okay, that sucks. And then Dr. Gordon gets knocked out, then the thing starts burying him. Then it falls apart again. And after they get Joey, they do this hallway of mirrors, and Freddy Krueger's in every one of them. They take all of them except for Joey. He's sitting in the corner, and then he uses his gift. He finally screams out, "No!" and breaks all the mirrors, and they all come out of it. And you get to another nitpick, I would say. And everything's okay. and Nancy says, he's gone. Now, due to her past experience with Freddy Krueger, especially in the first film, I think she would not have known better that it would not have been that easy to get rid of Freddy Krueger just by breaking all the mirrors that he's in. So, but after that, she thinks her father appears as he crossed over, right? And I wouldn't buy that he crossed over because everything what happened with him in the first film with his wife dying and all of a sudden not believing and all that stuff, and it wouldn't have bothered that he would just cross over and I believe in all this stuff already now. And Nancy, I just didn't think that she. I mean, I know she does. Helen Langenkamp does a good job in the film though, but I think the how some of the things about her character was written in, I think was kind of like lame. I would say because she should have been smart enough to know that it was not the end of Freddy Krueger that easily, and she no that was not her father. And after I crossed over and everything's okay now, but she fell for it, and it's Freddy Krueger in disguise, and he stabs her, and then I thought it was another cool way how they got rid of Freddy Krueger, where the Dr. Gordon Craig Wasson. He gets holy water, says ash to ashes, dust to dust, sprays on the body, and then all this lighting comes on Freddy Krueger and the cross on his forehead, and he starts, spinning, and until he disappears, poof. I like how the way he was shy, how like he's just spinning around, then all of a sudden, poof, he's gone. So then Nancy dies, and they're all attending to her funeral, and then Craig Wasson sees the nun marry Helena, but then he goes to see this tombstone is actually her name is also known as Amanda Krueger, the mother of Freddy Krueger. How she told a story that he explained it was her. She said it was a girl, but we know it's her. That she was locked into this back when that mental institution was asylum for the really bad criminally insane. It says how she was raped 100 times, and that's how Krueger was born. He's the bastard son of 100 maniacs. And that's what says you were his mother. And when the guy's asleep in bed, the model house of the opening of the film where with Patricia Arquette, she's building the house that Nancy was at in the first movie. So that model of that house, when the guy's asleep, the light turns on in the model house. So, yeah. So Nightmare on Elm Street 3, I thought it was a really enjoyable sequel. The cast does a good job. I like especially the characters of the Dream Warriors. They're likable characters. Especially I liked when Kincaid. I really like that guy. Who plays Kincaid. So Ken Sagoes, who plays Kincaid. You got Rodney Eastman, who plays Joey. Jennifer Rubin, who plays Taryn. Then you got Ara Hayden, who plays Will. Patricia Arquette as Kristen. They all do a good job. They're all likable characters, and like when they get their dream powers. And like I said, it was nice to see Laurence Fishburne in there, and he doesn't die. Heather Langenkamp, she goes good at Freddy Krueger, but I just didn't like how it was written for her. That how she fell for. She should have been smart enough to know that was not the end of Freddy Krueger, and to believe that was her father. I think he believed all the stuff of crossing over. She should have been smart enough not to fall for that though. But oh well. But regardless of that, and John Saxon dying so easily as well. So that's one nitpick, and also like the nitpick of what the guy Will, just running towards Freddy Krueger when he was safe from the distance when he was sapping him from where he was at. So 2 nitpicks though. Other than that though, I still enjoy 3, the Dream Warriors. And Robert Englund once again, a bang up job as Freddy Krueger once again, and well directed by Chuck Russell. He did a really great job and helped with his friend of Frank Darabont. Robert Shea once again is producing. The score by Angelio Badalamenti. I mispronounced the name. I thought he also did a good job on the score. Another different type of score, not like the first two though, but it was another good score. Craig Wasson as the Dr. Gordon, he was good, likable. Um, just like once again, imaginative and cleverness and the creative, especially the deaths. Especially the guy Philip, when he's sleepwalking, but he's using it as a puppet and just cut the strings, he falls. Or with the character Jennifer, just when Freddy Krueger becomes like the TV, it's really well done effects and just smashes her into it. Or when another good imaginative when Freddy Krueger turns into like a snake and just tries to eat Patricia Arquette. So Freddy Krueger, does a lot of creative things to do in this film. Like I said, what's good about the series, they do take the dream aspects, and just make it just goes wild with it, and using some imagination. And like I said, nowadays they don't do that nowadays. Everything has to be remakes, reboots, like rip off of the same plots we've seen done a dozen times, and just that's what kind of say like it makes like the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise like unique franchise because it goes wild with the whole aspects of the dreams and all that. You can do anything in your dreams, and how Freddy Krueger can just do what he can do in their dreams and stuff. Just. But that's why I still regardless of the nitpicks I say about these films, I still enjoy the franchise. Well, except for Part 5 and the remake, 2010 remake. But still, the rest of the films I still like, even though they have issues or nitpicks. But it doesn't upset me to the point, just because those nitpicks, I don't like the film. No, because a lot of times they're well written, with great casting, likable characters, well done effects, and Robert Englund as badass Freddy Krueger, and good scores. Yeah, but it's not those nitpicks aren't gonna let me say, those are bad. No, because number one is classic. Number two, I think, is the most underrated, and I don't get the hate for it. This is still a very fun, solid sequel. I enjoy part 3, The Dream Warriors. And so on the next review, which I'll get to my second favorite of the sequel series, Part 4, The Dream Master. That's a lot of fun. I love The Dream Master. And that's when director Rennie Harlan comes in and directs that film, and I enjoy Rennie Harlan as a director. So yeah, I'll look forward to check out it, and it gets more stuff with imaginative and creative stuff that happens in The Dream Master. But as for this one, I definitely give it a thumbs up, and I still like the poster too as well for that as well. So yeah, that's my review for Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for Part 4, The Dream Master. One of the most considered and to a lot of people one of the best ones in the series in this series. Later.